Hi, it's YouthLib 2012 here, and today we will be talking about a very serious topic. It's called the emotionally abusive mother. There's several reasons we tend to focus on mothers. As you've seen in other videos, mothers commit more child abuse than fathers do. I know you guys are probably shocked to hear that again, but I'll say it again. Mothers commit more child abuse than fathers. And another fact that you might be interested in, I mentioned this in another video, but I'll mention it for this one too, is that the sexual abuse of young girls by male figures is a minority fraction on the plate of child abuse. It's not, I wouldn't say like a almost not important part of it, but it's not a significant part of it. So we really need to focus on all types of abuse, and the emotionally abusive mother is definitely somebody we need to focus on because she is a parasite and a predator that leaves no scars. That's no physical scars. That's the way you can describe an emotionally abusive mother. And let me just give you some of the characteristics of an abusive mother, then we're going to talk about her. General characteristics of emotionally abusive mothers, and you can find these online if you Google emotionally abusive mothers, and there's actually an entire website dedicated to this one topic. So we're going to read through most of them, but here we go. Making the teen feel responsible for the mother's feelings, threatening them in general, threatening them specifically with rejection or abandonment, threatening them with vague, unstated consequences, using force upon them, invalidating their feelings, laying undeserved guilt on them, placing undeserved blame on them, dominating the conversations, refusing to apologize, always needing to have the last word, judging or rejecting their friends, sending them to their rooms for crying, or punishing them for crying in general, locking them out of the house, using punishments and rewards to manipulate and control them, invalidating their privacy, underestimating them, failing to show trust in them, labeling them, criticizing them, giving them silent treatment, failing to give them real explanations, and finally giving non-explanations such as because it is wrong, or because it's inappropriate, or because it is a sin. We really should focus on emotionally abusive mothers and abusive mothers in general, because they are the majority. Them and their male partners are the majority of people who commit abuse. And it also should be stated that biological fathers actually play a role in protecting their children. You know, we hear about some who molest their daughters, and that's really bad, but that's a minority part of the puzzle. The majority of fathers are there who are in the household are actually protecting, as we see from statistics, are protecting their children from this type of abuse by the mother. Not to say that all fathers are angels and all mothers are demons, but we need to really look at the facts. And if I said this in another video, but if 52% of all robberies were committed by women, we would look at women and say, why are they committing so many robberies? But for some reason we've had in this society where when women commit abuse, whether it's against men, other women, or children, we don't call them out for it. We don't say anything to them. It's been this silent epidemic of allowing women to hurt people without any consequence. So that's what we really need to focus on, looking at how this maternal abuse has affected youth rights. It's affected me deeply. I've witnessed this, experienced this, and I know a lot about this. And this is what it affects many young boys in particular, in the matriarchy. This would affect a lot of young boys, because unlike young girls, when young boys cry out, they're often ridiculed, ignored, and looked down upon, which is completely wrong. And so yeah, that's what we really want to focus on. When I was reading this list, some of you probably are listening to this and saying, oh my gosh, this is my mother. You're not alone. Millions of us had mothers just like this. And just like you, we probably thought we were the only ones too. We've probably seen mothers who are like this. And it's sad. It's really sad. And what makes it even more pathetic is that usually with emotionally abusive mothers, it doesn't take much to create one, honestly. These are not women who, in my experience, are severely abused or anything like that. These are just women who have social issues, and they take out their problems on their children. And it's pathetic. They are pathetic. If this is your mother, then she is pathetic. And I think youth rights has got to transform into another position where we're no longer afraid to call these mothers out. There's been a society that has been silent on the abuse of mothers, and we haven't said anything about it. It hasn't been spoken about. We talk all about fathers and men, how men are bad. All the men are bad. But look at the statistics. Women are the ones committing these crimes. So we need to focus on women. This is not a misogynistic video. This is not hating women. But if the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's an expression that I used to hear as a child, and it's true. People who do the crime should pay the time. And pay the price. So that's what we need to look at. And these emotionally abusive mothers are a parasite to society and to children, and they should be called out for it. And so that's what I really wanted to make this video about. If you have an emotionally abusive mother or an abusive mother in general, you are not alone. You are not alone. I'll repeat it one more time. You are not alone. There's plenty of people like you out there, and we know what it's like to have people say it's your fault, because you should always, some of the things you always hear in society that you never hear about fathers, but you always hear this about mothers. Mothers are the most loving people in the world. Not true. You're always supposed to love your mother. Not true. Mothers know what's best. Not true. Mothers are always right. Definitely not true. Mothers are, if you disrespect your mother, you disrespect all women. No, if your mother's a piece of crap and you disrespect her, you're disrespecting a piece of crap, not all women. And you just don't hear that about fathers. When girls, you can hear girls all the time saying how they hate their fathers are crap. But when a young boy says about his mother, or a woman says that about her mother, she's immediately put down, because we live in a matriarchal society, a society controlled by mothers, and in most parts, some women. Not maybe at the CEO level, but in our society. And to be honest, this is cultural too. You don't really see emotionally abusive. Let's talk about that, the cultural aspect of it. You really see emotionally abusive mothers in Caucasian and African American families. You rarely see them in Latino families. As a matter of fact, in my experience with dealing with kids from all walks of life, I've never met a Latina mother who's emotionally abusive. You know, Latina is a very wide category, but in general, and I'm not generalizing here. I'm not saying all black mothers and white mothers are abusive or X, Y, Z. But what I am saying is there are patterns, cultural patterns. Just like you see cultural patterns in the Middle East or in some parts of Asia and Africa, there are cultural patterns about abusive mothers. And let's talk about what causes an abusive mother. Well, abusive mother, just like any other person, is someone who's unworthy of any type of support or protection. We don't say, oh, well, he smacked his wife because he was abused, we should feel sorry for him. No, we say he's terrible, he's an awful person. We should say the same thing about these mothers. But we don't. We have the society that protects them and says, oh, your mother knows best, or don't blame your mom, don't talk to your mom like that. But yeah, when these mothers commit crimes against their kids, it's not spoken about, nobody says anything. And so that's what we really want to cover in this video. This is going to be a short video. We're just not going to go on and on, but I really want you guys to know you're not alone. And there's this project out called It Gets Better for kids who are bullied. Well, for you guys, I would say you're not alone. That should be a project for young people. Kids who are abused, you are not alone. There are millions of kids like you. And a lot of these adults were just like you. Some of them choose to solve their problems. Some of them tend to say, oh, well, it's just a past, it's fine, it's over. And they end up repeating the same mistakes with their own kids. So you are not alone. And when you look at my videos, look at the ones on minorism, no fault emancipation. I have these strong views because I've been through a lot. I know exactly what it takes to be a youth rights leader. I'm not saying I'm defining the entire movement, but I speak so strongly on these topics because I know that we really need these changes to happen so that young people aren't forced into the situations that me and millions of other kids are forced into, where you are forced to depend on people who don't treat you right. That's what it's all about, really. How do people treat you? And what you see in America is a very awful state of parenting. Awful. I'll tell you, America has some of the worst parents I've ever seen. The worst parents. And it's never talked about. And once again, if you're a parent lover, parents are the greatest things, or you are a matriarchal supporter, your mother is the most amazing figure in life, don't bother watching this video or commenting, because we don't want to hear that. This is for the kids who don't have good mothers, and for people in general to understand that this is an epidemic. 52%, like I said, this is an epidemic that needs to stop. So once again, don't bother commenting or watching the video if you have those type of views that mothers are the best thing in the world. So yeah, that's my video, and there'll be more to come. You will have things about abusive fathers, abusive older siblings, and hopefully you will get to see how this pertains to youth rights. If you don't, unfortunate, but I hope that you do. And I hope you check out all the videos on minorism and no fault emancipation and school choice. Take care.